I learned quite a bit trying to incorporate safety as an integral part of our planning process here.
Because it has really shifted my thinking in terms of how you understand safety and crime prevention.
Some of the views that I held about the causes and the drivers of crime and violence were entrenched and were verified, by the experience.
Strengthen, partnership building in terms of the South-South relationship.
More than 60% of people in South Africa live in towns and cities, an urbanization trend that is expected to continue. While cities offer opportunities such as access to better services, employment, social development, and vibrant public spaces, in South Africa these potential benefits are threatened by high levels of urban violence and crime. Some of South Africa's large cities are perceived to be among the most unsafe in the world. Despite the unique historical context that has shaped South Africa's cities, there are similarities in conditions that drive urban violence and crime between South Africa and many developing countries. In order to promote learning between countries of the South that share challenges and solutions related to urban violence, GIZ, as part of the Inclusive Violence and Crime Prevention Program, collaborated with the South African Cities Network and the Department of Cooperative Governance to organize a study tour for South African partners to Brazil and Colombia.
One of the mandates of VCP is to support people in coming together and learning through peer exchange mechanisms, learning through networks, not having to reinvent the wheel, but really building up a peer support network. And therefore we already had a big passion for the idea of South-South learning. And then the World Urban Forum that was meant to take place in Colombia gave us the perfect opportunity to say, okay, now is the time to do it, because it gave us the opportunity to combine a study tour that just looks at site visits and engagement with partners to a global conference that also for the first time had the issue of urban safety as one of its core themes.
Safety generally, it's equated to policing. So one of the things that I really enjoyed and that I learned some insights from the trip was that safety is an outcome of a number of other initiatives from a lot of stakeholders and role players. It's a cross-cutting issue.
Once you come back and you're reflecting on what the study tour had actually exposed us to, you begin to see the notion of an integrated approach actually working on the ground. I think for me that was very important around this integrated approach was a focus on community relations and policing, and trying to create a relationship based on trust between citizens and the police.
There's lots of similarities between South Africa and South America. A lot of things that we know result in violence and crime, and therefore are a big challenge to safety in urban setups, such as where you have a situation where people do not feel that they are part and parcel of a city, that they don't belong, that they don't own the city.
South American governments spend a lot of time focusing on integrated planning. So I was very impressed with the determination of the city of Medellin to actually include poor people in the entire integrated transport system of the city.
Cable cars being used as a mode of public transport for marginalized people to reach areas that ordinarily is difficult to reach, or it will take forever. I mean, that was something, because then it was really the notion of development is about people, but also then the message about how as government we need to be working together with civil society. It has got a critical role to play, but it then also needs partnership with government, for government to acknowledge what role civil society can play, acknowledge initiatives at grassroots. And it can't be one party that can solve all the other issues, but we need all the role players to kind of play an important role.
South American governments have done a lot of work in dealing with institutional issues, which generally are an impediment to implementation of good policy. So they have good policy, but also they have institutional frameworks that enable those policies to be implemented and be successful.
For me, it was important to get the South African practitioners together outside of the country, because they really formed into a camaraderie of some sort, and they gelled together.
I think it builds a kind of platform through the network we created in the delegates who were part of the study tour, to think about how we can work a lot more closely as cities, sharing good practice and experience.
A lot has happened, and a lot also has happened with regards to a joint vision, a joint understanding of what does it actually mean when we talk of safer communities. How can we get there? What is the role of the police? What is the role of local government? What is the role of civil society? And how to better the state of South African cities with regards to community and urban safety.